Unseen yet unstoppable, has a quiet revolution in southeastern Europe changed the face of global power? As of early 2026, a subtle but explosive shift has taken place right at the doorstep of the Black Sea. What seemed like a regional realignment is actually a masterstroke that could topple Russia's influence in this crucial waterway. The secret? A small country no one paid much attention to, Romania, has stepped into the role of a formidable logistical fortress, redefining the entire battle landscape. Imagine the moment when a nation, long considered a silent partner, suddenly emerges as a strategic hub that could end a superpower's dominance. The previously unthinkable and advanced supply center feeding Ukraine's front lines through Romania has become a reality. From the eastern coast of NATO, this development whispers promises of unstoppable logistics and rapid reinforcement. With a network of railways and roads racing supplies directly to the battlefield, the old game of waiting and attrition may be coming to an end. Russia's plan to cut Ukraine's lifelines? Crushed before it even began. Now, stop and ask yourself, how did this happen without Russian intelligence catching wind of it? The answer isn't on any map. It's in the crushing speed of modern warfare, an invisible force that paralyzes decision-making and runs ahead like a ticking clock. This isn't just about building another military base. It's a technological marvel, an evolving fortress that links logistics, repair hubs, and command centers into a single, unstoppable machine. Every cargo ship, every train, every truck delivers not just weapons but a new era of strategic dominance. If you think this is just another logistics update, think again. Because what I'm about to reveal is a game changer, an unseen force that has turned the entire region into a battlefield of time itself. This development is more than military buildup, it's a silent revolution redefining global power dynamics. With NATO's newest logistics hub rising at Mikhail Kobelniceanu airbase, the balance begins to tilt. Picture the air humming with activity, trains rattling, radars scanning, missiles on alert. This fortress, reinforced by top-tier missile shields, is nearly impossible to strike directly. Meanwhile, the economic lifelines, ports, railways, energy supplies, channel aid and exports to Ukraine, transforming the Black Sea into a critical artery of resilience. Russia's hope of strangling Ukraine's economy? Fading into the shadows of a fortified European response. And yet, the true shock is yet to come. As these logistical arteries tighten, Russia's influence in Moldova shrinks, and its hybrid warfare strategies falter. What was once a hope to exploit separatist regions now faces an unbreakable NATO presence right at its doorstep. The seismic shifts here threaten to wipe out Russian influence entirely, turning the Black Sea into an impenetrable shell of strategic defense. This is more than military strategy, it's Europe's awakening from deep complacency. Polish defense budgets skyrocket as Poland constructs a formidable eastern wall. Germany's historic pacifism dissolves as it reboots its armed forces into Europe's largest land power. Scandinavia rises, echoing with the clangs of new military bases and modernized armies. Countries across the continent mobilize, each one rewriting their defense narratives. Ask yourself, what will happen next? Will Russia admit defeat, or will it scramble to find a new way into this fortress? One thing is clear, this quiet but relentless escalation signals a new era in global power struggle. Every step forward by Romania, Poland, Germany, and the Nordic nations is a blow to the old balance. And with the shadow of NATO's logistics masterstroke stretching across the region, the game is about to change forever. The situation is escalating rapidly. Russia's military planners once believed that cutting Ukraine's main supply line, the Jazov route, would bring the entire resistance to its knees. They thought the country's defenses would crumble, leaving them victorious. But now, a new force is rising from the south, shattering that illusion. Romania is transforming from a quiet neighbor into a formidable logistic hub, arming, repairing, and supplying Ukraine at lightning speed. The sounds of machinery, the scent of fresh paint, and the tactile feel of steel reinforce a new reality. Romania is becoming a strategic fortress. Satellite images reveal massive infrastructure at Mikhail Kobelniceanu airbase unseen until now. This is no ordinary supply point. It's a state-of-the-art maintenance and transfer center. Advanced electronic warfare systems, radars, air defense components, nothing is left to chance. Armored units in Ukraine's south no longer have to journey hours to Poland. Instead, they're repaired quickly in Romania's facilities, then swiftly returned to the front lines. This is a game-changer and antidote to Russia's war of attrition. The infrastructure confirms a broader plan. Romania is quickly transforming its military, modernizing tanks, eyeing the F-35, building a naval force to counter the Russian Navy. While Russia struggles within Ukraine's quagmire, a new regional power is awakening, armed, ready, and fortified. Logistics, the unseen backbone of warfare, now favors this rising force. The equation has shifted. Yet, the most shocking aspect? Kremlin strategists believed Ukraine was only vulnerable along its northern borders. They thought that destroying Kiev's supply lines in Jazov would end everything. But they overlooked the south. NATO has created a steel ring, 2 points of pressure. Poland to the north, Romania to the south. This double threat eliminates the chance for Russia to strike at a single weakness. It's a strategic nightmare, an unbreakable pincer that locks Russian forces out of victory. And as this ring tightens, the unanswered question remains: how long can Moscow ignore this emerging threat before it spirals out of control? Imagine, what if the very ground beneath Russia's feet was about to crumble, not from gunfire, but from a silent, steel-reinforced web tightening around its borders? Have you ever wondered why Kremlin's grand plans, designed to suffocate a nation, are unraveling like a frayed rope in a storm? What shocking secret could Romania's bold move reveal about Ukraine's unbreakable spirit, turning Putin's Black Sea empire into a crumbling relic? Allies in Ukraine stand united, yearning for peace amid the turmoil. Yet, Russia's sphere in the Black Sea dwindles, quietly. From the south, a gateway pulses with anticipation, signaling defiance to the leader in Moscow. Bucharest's decisive push has upset the board. No longer a bystander, Romania emerges as a colossal gateway, poised to shatter Russian dominance. Ukraine's supply myths dissolve into dust. Russia's southern chaos deepens, a vortex of defeat. But how did Kremlin overlook this seismic shift right on its doorstep? The answer? Not maps, but war's relentless rhythm. This isn't mere logistics, it's a temporal trap, freezing Russian choices, leaving them lagging, ticking like an unstoppable clock. Dive now into this hidden calculus, where power balances swing wildly. Picture Romania shifting from silent watcher to guardian of the Black Sea, its air buzzing with drills, the metallic tang of steel under the sun, by January 2026. Minister Ionut Smishtiano unveils a new defense doctrine, a manifesto of action, not words. Guns and structures affirm it on the ground. This center, rising at Mikhail Kovalnikianu Air Base, becomes NATO's second-largest hub for Ukraine after Zajów in Poland. Yet, its edge lies in location, igniting Russian panic. Feeding northern and western fronts from Poland, this southern artery shortens paths to heated Donbass, Kherson, Crimea battles. Logistics last-mile agony ends for Ukraine, begins for Russia. With touchless ease, feel the pulse of General Mike Keller's strategy in whispers. Priority Ukraine requirements list algorithm speeds supplies. No bureaucratic delays, air defenses or 155mm shells ship instantly via rails and roads, erasing Russian gains. Hammer the image, weapons depots? This center repairs electronics, radars, air defenses, fostering rebirth for battered Leopards and Caesars near the line. Antidote to attrition, a bomb for the wounded front, scorching exhaust, clanking repairs echo through nights. Confirmed by Intel images, the scale at Mikhail Kovalnikianu transforms Romania's forces, billions modernized tanks, i.e. Ff-35 jets, forge Black Sea fleets. As Russia sinks deeper, a southern titan rises, veiled in steel. War's math collapses. Romania multiplies the equation against them. Has the illusion that Poland's Jazov lifeline was Ukraine's frailty now exploded into dust? Kremlin thought severing it would end resistance. But the southern pillar forms an unbreakable ring, a logistical vice. Poland north, Romania south, redundancy thwarts single failures. For Russian commanders, nightmare stalks them. If fixated on Poland, southern Romanian flows fuel Donbass, Crimea indefatigably. If south draws them, northern armor bolsters Kiev, Kharkiv. Strategy suffocates, scattering strikes across vast borders, irony biting like frost on skin. Twist, But what if Russia's isolation sparks a forgotten fate? Suspended in history's mirror, their empire mirrors past mistakes, where underestimation birthed calamity. Sensory whirl, missile winds pierce air, sabotage boots crunch gravel, the stench of ruin in abandoned posts. Forced to bombard not one, but a sprawling web growing tighter. Centers shielded. Aegis ashore at Deveselo weaves an unseen dome, armored fortress. Moscow's threats confess fear, impossible fortress. Guarantees Ukraine's aid, voids ballistic threats. Eco-economic ripples swell, Romania's corridor sustains weapons, exports, energy. Black Sea grain sabotage fades, Constantine port and rails reroute. Punctures blockade, Putin's stranglehold fails utterly. Far-reaching waves crash on Moldova, Transnistria. Romania's growth erodes hybrid maneuvers. NATO's shadow shields Chisinau, Transnistria's gambling betrays Russia's hand. Pivotal hub nearby dwarfs the isolated garrison erasing sway. Awakening dawns not isolated, but Europe's resurgence. Continental sleep evades, mobilization erupts. Billions fuel defenses, conscription rises, shelters burgeon. North, Poland's 4.7% GDP budget, historic amassing, erects eastern shield, 2.5 billion digs trenches, mines, towers along borders, crushing invasions at the brink. Germany sheds pacifism, aims for 260,000 soldiers, debates conscription. Exposes as threat, shatters division. Scandinavia fortifies, France expands reserves, Denmark broadens service. Putin's divide crumbles, rallying the continent. Ever pondered a leader's miscalculation spiraling into total unraveling, where every ploy backfires spectacularly? What monstrous twist could the Russian silence foreshadow, robbing them of leverage in a region they once ruled? Cliffhanger looms, as Europe arms, will Russia's next gamble expose fragility or ignite unforeseen backlash? The wind howls warnings, pressure builds like thunderheads gathering for impact. Recent developments have shown that NATO's influence has extended deep into Moldova, reaching the heart of its capital, Chisinau. The creation of a robust logistical hub just next door has rendered Russia's gambit with Transnistria strategically meaningless. With NATO's second-largest supply base operating nearby, a lone Russian garrison looks powerless, trapped within a shrinking influence zone. To the untrained eye, the region's map may seem unchanged. But beneath the surface, a quiet revolution is unfolding. The significance of this logistical fortress transcends its size, it symbolizes Europe's awakening. The continent, long resigned to a fragile peace, is now on the move, mobilizing, rearming, and refusing complacency. War's shadow looms ever closer, and leadership no longer communicates through diplomatic messages alone. Instead, massive defense budgets are being approved, and nations are drafting soldiers once again. On Europe's northern edge, Poland ignites an unprecedented military surge. Allocating 4.7% of its GDP to defense in 2025, Poland's government is transforming its borders into an unbreakable barrier. Massive trenches, fortified watchtowers, and minefields are sprouting along the frontiers, an impenetrable death zone designed to crush any Russian invasion at its first step. Meanwhile, across the continent, Germany is tearing down its pacifist image. The military budget is rising sharply, planned to reach over 260,000 soldiers, stepping boldly into a new era of readiness. Discussions on compulsory service, once taboo, are now openly debated. Defense leaders see Russia, not as a trade partner, but as an existential threat that must be confronted. This series of seismic shifts paints a clear picture. Europe is rapidly transforming into a fortified continent, prepared to face a new era of conflict. With its strategic defense infrastructure in place, the question is no longer if, but when the storm will break. The small, isolated Russian garrison in Moldova is now fighting a battle it cannot win, a symbol of the fading influence of Russia's hybrid strategy in the region. What does this mean for Putin's vision of dominance? How much longer can his influence cling to the failing shadows of old tactics? The game has fundamentally changed. The entire landscape of power, influence, and war itself is shifting. Imagine the sounds of heavy machinery, the smell of fresh concrete, and the tension in the air as Europe steels itself for what's to come. The question now is, how will Russia respond to this rising fortress of resistance? As concerns over Russia's expanding influence grow louder, a surprising transformation is unfolding in Europe. It's not just about troops and borders anymore. The entire balance of power is shifting, rewriting the strategic map in a way that threatens Moscow's previous dominance. Unexpectedly, the game-changer is emerging from a small country on the Black Sea's southern edge, Romania. Imagine a fortress rising quietly but decisively, transforming from a mere neighbor into a key security hub. This isn't just infrastructure, it's a strategic earthquake, and Russia is nowhere near prepared. In January 2026, Romania took a bold step, no longer just defending its borders. It positioned itself as a vital pillar, a logistical backbone for the alliance's east. Defense signals from Bucharest now broadcast one clear message: we're no longer passive. The new national defense strategy, announced with unwavering resolve, turns the country into a formidable security provider in the Black Sea basin. This facility under construction isn't an ordinary military base. It's destined to be NATO's second-largest supply artery for Ukraine, second only to Poland's Rzeszów base. But the crucial difference? Its location and rapid operation capabilities threaten to cut right through Russia's muddy strategic attempts. Picture beams of light flashing through satellite images, massive infrastructure work at Mikhail Kobalnikanu Air Base. The sound of construction drills, the scent of fresh asphalt, all signals of a new front line. This base isn't just a storage warehouse for weapons and supplies, it's a high-tech support hub. Rapid transport routes, maintenance centers for advanced electronic warfare systems, and repair facilities for the newest NATO weaponry are springing up there. It's a quick reaction operation, designed to deliver aid instantly, eliminating weeks-long delays. The intent is to crush Russia's traditional attrition strategy, leaving its forces paralyzed, always one step behind. This logistics hub is protected by a sophisticated missile shield air defense systems like Aegis Ashore. Satellite and intelligence reports confirm that Romania's airbase is now a nearly impenetrable fortress. Threatening its existence is a strategic blunder for Russia, exposing Moscow's fear of this unassailable stronghold. As the Russian Foreign Ministry calls these bases targets, it reveals panic, knowing an attack against this shield is virtually impossible. Meanwhile, the aid flow to Ukraine is safeguarded, nullifying Moscow's blackmail tactics. But the ripple effects go far beyond military logistics. This corridor becomes the lifeline for Ukraine's exports and energy supplies. The Black Sea grain corridor, which once might have been sabotaged, now has a resilient alternative thanks to Romania's port facilities and rail networks. Russia's economic strategies unravel before their eyes. Their plans to choke Ukraine's economy have failed spectacularly. And now, the geopolitical map is morphing again. The shift isn't limited to Ukraine. Moldova and its breakaway region, Transnistria, are feeling the tremors. With NATO's logistics expanding into Romania, Russian hybrid warfare in Moldova faces a dead end. Moscow's influence there rapidly diminishes, isolated by a security zone reinforced with NATO's presence. The firewall against Russian assertiveness grows taller and stronger. Suddenly, what seemed like a gamble on separatism is turning into a strategic nightmare for Moscow. This is more than a regional shift, it signals Europe's awakening. Decades of complacency are crumbling fast. Military budgets soar, defenses are modernizing overnight. Poland leads the charge, allocating a record 4.7% of its gross domestic product for defense, building a formidable eastern shield along its borders. Germany reverses its pacifist stance, doubling its troop numbers and debating mandatory service. Scandinavia's fortresses are rising, bunkers, minefields, and watchtowers carving an impenetrable line across borders. The entire continent is mobilizing, no longer asleep at the wheel. This wave of action signals a new era, one where war is no longer distant, but at the doorstep. Europe is reinforcing its defenses, turning into an interconnected fortress. Every new fortification, every military upgrade pushes Russia into a corner. The question is, how long can Moscow keep pretending this isn't happening? What lies ahead is a battlefield of steel, strategy, and unexpected twists. While Russia struggles in Ukraine's muddy fields, Europe's new defenses tighten around it. The balance of power has shifted permanently. The opening of Romania's logistics hub isn't just a new supply line, it's the final chapter in a story of strategic failure for Moscow. Russia's dream of dominance is dissolving, unraveling beneath the heavy weight of steel and resolve. The game has changed forever. The doors are closing. And for Moscow, the future looks darker than ever. By the start of 2026, Russia's once unquestioned dominance in the Black Sea has crumbled beyond recognition. The strategic landscape has been rewritten, leaving Moscow with no safe harbor and no clear escape route. The message from Romania to Moscow is loud and unmistakable: you can't cut off Ukraine's supply lines anymore. The entire continent is now united against Russian ambitions. On the maritime front, the situation is even more critical. A joint mine countermeasure task force led by Turkey, Bulgaria, and Romania has drastically limited Russia's naval options. Designed initially to clear mines and safeguard civilian trade, this operation acts as a strategic shield, effectively breaking Russia's blockade in the Black Sea. Now, the Russian fleet is anchored in port, unable to challenge these new guarantees of safe passage. Ukrainian naval drones and missile strikes have already kept the Russian Black Sea fleet locked away, transforming the former gray zone of the sea into a secure corridor for trade. Moscow's bluff, threatening to block vital grain exports, has been shattered on the ground by ships from this alliance and civilian vessels operating in Romanian territorial waters. The Black Sea is now a lifeline, not a battlefield. This encirclement extends beyond naval power. Energy security, once a weapon in Putin's arsenal, is rapidly slipping away. Romania's Black Sea Neptune project, tapping into vast natural gas reserves, is delivering a crushing blow to Europe's dependence on Russian energy. The billions of cubic meters of gas Romania plans to extract and supply are draining Moscow's last leverage. Putin's threat to turn off the gas tap, used for years as a tool of coercion, is becoming irrelevant. Romania is quickly siphoning off Moscow's market share, transforming from a regional military player into a vital energy hub for Europe. Britain's strategic calculus is shifting, leaving Russia stranded amid a new geopolitical order where the old powers no longer hold the keys. It's as if the entire map of power is being rewritten, and Moscow is losing control, piece by piece. In the heart of a rapidly changing battlefield, a new strategic landscape has emerged that could redefine the future of the region. The traditional image of Russia's dominance over Ukraine and the Black Sea is collapsing under the weight of a silent but unstoppable revolution. A coalition of nations is transforming the geopolitical chessboard, and the stakes have never been higher. Imagine a fortress rising on the edge of Europe, not built with stone or steel alone, but with logistics, technology, and unbreakable alliances. Romania has become more than just a neighbor, it has evolved into a critical military and economic linchpin, blocking Russia's every move. Its sprawling logistics hubs are now the backbone of Ukrainian resilience, outfitted with lightning-fast supply systems that eliminate delays and keep front lines flush with needed weapons and reinforcements. This is no ordinary supply depot, it's a sophisticated nerve center capable of repairing high-tech weaponry within moments, turning battlefield setbacks into swift counterattacks. In a world where war is often fought in shadows, Romania's infrastructure is a fortress cloaked in invisible defenses. Satellite images reveal massive construction at Mikhail Kobalnikianu Air Base, transforming it into a hub that operates under NATO's watchful eye. Bolstered by the Aegis Ashore missile shield, this strategic center sits behind an invisible barrier so formidable that Moscow's threats of destruction only amplify fears. This isn't just logistics, it's a nearly impregnable fortress that guarantees aid delivery and nullifies ballistic threats, forcing Russia into a corner from which there is no escape. But the story doesn't end here. The economic fallout is just as shocking. As Romania's natural gas fields begin pumping billions of cubic meters into Europe's energy network, Moscow's leverage over the continent's energy supplies crumbles. Putin's favorite weapon, gas blackmail, is fading into the past. Romania is not only cutting off Russian influence in the military sphere but also eroding its economic foothold, delivering a double blow that leaves Moscow reeling. This is a fatal strike against Gazprom's dominance, sealing Russia's economic retreat from the heart of Europe. The strategic encirclement extends beyond land and sea. The Danube Delta, a whispering gateway to Ukraine's ports, remains open, protected by Romania's vigilant defense systems and surveillance radars. Night after night, Russian drones are intercepted and neutralized, their silent engines and whirring rotors no longer causing chaos but instead giving way to a seamless intelligence web. NATO radars integrate data instantly, creating a barrier of light and sound that keeps Russian terror tactics at bay. What was once a vast, unassailable frontier has been reduced to a strategic minefield, an obstacle Moscow cannot bypass or ignore. From high above, the map depicts an undeniable truth: Russia's strategic depth is gone. No more vast buffer zones stretching across the Baltic, Black, and Eastern European plains. Instead, NATO's forward defense line looms directly at Moscow's doorstep. The decades-old buffer doctrine has been shattered. Now every border is a point of scrutiny and confrontation. The Kremlin's military leaders can no longer pretend what lies beyond is unknown. Every inch is targeted, every movement observed. Romania's rise isn't just about arming itself, it's a move in a global game of chess, a perfectly calculated checkmate against Moscow's ambitions. As the Russian army faces an impossible puzzle, decide whether to weaken Ukraine's northern defenses or tighten the southern grip, every choice only tightens the noose. The once assumed unassailability of Russian naval and land forces is dissolving, replaced by a formidable alliance that leaves little room for error or retreat. So, what is your perspective? Can Putin find a way out of this Black Sea spiral, or is the dividing line between Romania and Poland creating a new, almost impenetrable shield that will leave the Russian Navy stranded and Ukraine stronger than ever? The reality is stark: the shifting geopolitics, the rising power of Romania, and the relentless march of modern warfare are rewriting history on the fly. The stakes have never been higher. The question remains, will the Kremlin's strategic illusions survive this storm, or are we witnessing the dawn of a new era, one where the balance of power is irrevocably tilted? Imagine the roar of engines fading into silence, the metallic taste of fear hanging in the air. Did you know Romania's bold move could humiliate Putin's Black Sea empire, turning his northern nightmares into southern annihilation? Shocking, isn't it? As alliances tighten, Ukraine's lifeline pulses stronger, mocking Russia's fading grip. This unsparing shift has Bucharest leaping from sidelines to stormbreaker, a doctrinal earthquake shaking global powers. Building on Romania's transformation from sentry to powerhouse, Defense Minister Angel Tilvar unveiled a strategy that's pure steel resolve. It's not mere words on paper, it's troops clashing in the dust, the echo of boots stamping defiance. No ordinary military base lurks here, a colossal hub rises, NATO's second-largest lifeline for Ukraine after Poland. But location ignites panic, functionality fuels chaos. While Poland feeds northern fires, this southern artery slashes distances to Donbass, Kherson, Crimea, battlefronts where blood boils. Logistics cruel last-mile haunts armies like a phantom. Romania banishes that ghost for Ukraine, while unleashing it on Russia, a suffocating shroud. Yet depth unfolds beyond mere shelves. Precise systems roar to life. Leaked whispers from General Mike Keller reveal an ultra-fast algorithm. Priority Ukraine requirements list. Bureaucracy's slow creep halts weeks-long, instant action surges. No approvals linger for air defenses, no scribbles for 155mm shells. Packages vanish into rails rumble, roads growl, racing to lines where thunder reigns. Every Russian tick on the clock erases. Victory slips through Vlad's fingers. And armories transcend bullets, hangars buzz with rebirth. Maintenance hums, repairs fuse cracks in electronic war beasts, counter-battery radars, air shield contours. Worn beasts from Donbass leopards, Caesars, no longer trek north's endless miles. Romania's sanctum mends them, thrusting reformed fury back into fray. War's attrition crumbles. Russia's game falters. This hub's pulse mocks Vlad's blustering shadow, a triumph veiled in strategy's shroud. But what if this fortress begets more? A twist of fate, or prelude to Russia's epic recoil? Feel the anticipation build, hearts pounding.